But we all come from the same source, walk on the same roads. That's just the way it goes. Yeah, you miss a ghetto. I feel hold your head up. I feel hold your hand up. When you see bad things are going and shut up. If you come to mash up, the devil give you work so you set up. No make him trick you with him charm. Hey, me no know, me no know. Me no know, me no know.
Hola, hola familia, buenas tardes, buenos días, buenas noches, depende dónde nos escuches, dónde disfrutes de este Instagram Live. Welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where in the world are you locating, watching and tuning in. Mi nombre es Lulu Solares, a.k.a. Miss Lulu, celebrando 15 años del Mundo Reggae en Radio Show con un ciclo de entrevistas impresionantes, muy buenas entrevistas agendadas. Iniciamos el lunes con Micah Shemaiah desde San Diego, California, y hoy 3 de agosto del 2022 estoy lista para recibir a Micah Shemaiah desde Jamaica. No está en Jamaica en este momento, anda trabajando arduo y tendido en Francia. Así que vamos a alargar su noche. Son las 10 de la noche en Francia, son las 10 de la mañana en Honolulu, Hawái, desde donde te saludo con una tremenda sonrisa y alegría, agradeciéndote tu sintonía como siempre. Estamos listos y listísimos para recibir a Micah Shemaiah, un cantante de reggae, conscious y spiritual reggae espiritual, reggae consciente, que ha venido trabajando arduo y tendido, Tiene ya 3 álbumes de estudio. El primero, si no me equivoco, salió en 2015. Pero ya sabemos que hay arduo trabajo detrás para llegar a un primer álbum. Vamos a preguntarle de Tocho Morocho el día de hoy. No te despegues, por favor. Voy a estar traduciendo cada una de sus respuestas. I'm gonna be translating each and every answer of Micah Shemaiah, a Jamaican singer who is right now in France, touring and working real hard like he has done since 2000, who knows. We're gonna ask him the history behind his 3 albums and many singles out. He's there, I see him. We're gonna join him right now. Vamos a invitarlo ahora mismo a que se una a esta su entrevista. Sonando voz está uno de los tunes de su último álbum que salió este año 2022. Micah Shemaiah, welcome.
Yeah, man, greetings over there.
Greetings from Honolulu, Hawaii, from Miss Lulu.
Oh, man, big up all Hawaiian massive, see?
Yes, big up all the massive in Mexico, in Jamaica, in France, in Hawaii.
Yeah, man. All of South America, all of Central America, all of Europe, all of the Caribbean, and big up every time.
Everywhere in the world where there's reggae lovers, because there's reggae lovers everywhere in the world. It's an amazing music that you represent, and I'm so happy to join you to this season of interviews of the 15-year anniversary of my project, Mundo Reggae Radio Show. Thank you in advance for your time.
Wow, congratulations. That sounds very good.
Thank you. Congratulations to you too in your tour. You're right now in Paris, France, working so hard. You just performed last night and you've been performing hard all the month. Tell me, what festivals have you been performing there?
Well, so far, I think it's been Zwarte Cross in Holland. Also, Irie Vibes in Belgium, Hub Festival in Hungary, Uppsala in Sweden. I'm not remembering everything right now.
Everybody check up on his pages. Acaba de decir los nombres de los festivales en los que se ha presentado en Bélgica, en muchísimos lugares, y va a seguir en The Tour. Trae un tour por Europa, así que si andas viéndonos desde allá, disfrutando de su música desde allá, mantente pendiente porque va a seguir The Tour por Europa. Micah Shemaiah, I hope you're ready to tell history today, the history of the man, the artist.
Yeah, man, no problem. I mean, just to share with the people, it's good, you know?
I was just doing an introduction about you, short words, because there's a lot to know. And I was saying about your 3 records available, albums available. The first one, if I'm not mistaken, it was around 2015. But as I was saying, there's way too more before the first album of each and every artist. And there's way much history to become an artist, a solid
Yes,
artist like
definitely,
you.
definitely.
You was born in Kingston, Jamaica, right?
Yes, I was. My first album was actually in 2009. It was
All
called
right.
Rastaman Meditation. A lot of people don't know about that because at that time, I wasn't known by the world. You know, at that time, I was just making songs with my brethren them, and we put out a project to see if the world would actually appreciate our sound. So my first album was an album called Rastaman Meditation, which was in 2009 actually.
Su primer álbum, dice, fue en 2009, Rasta Meditation. No mucha gente sabe de él. Yo no sabía de él. Ahora sabemos, gracias a tu Mundo Reggae Show. 2009, that was your first studio experience, or how was your first studio experience?
Studio.
Yeah, the recording music. You say you were
Oh,
writing songs before. How you
yeah, yeah,
actually, I mean, everybody expects us growing in Jamaica, you are surrounded by reggae music because that's the mecca of it. But
yeah.
how was your childhood? Did you were involved in reggae music since then?
Well, I grew up when I was younger. Actually, I mean, really young. I didn't listen to reggae. Actually, I listened to music like Sade and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I grew up around reggae because I was born in the 12 tribes. But the influences of music is very vast and wide. So when I was growing up, I was really being a kid. You know what I mean? So I listened to people like Boys to Men and Sade and people like that. I didn't really listen to reggae when I was younger. When I reached like 16, 17 years old, I started to really find that vibe of the Rastafari, which was within me, which was what I grew up in. So there I started to venture into listening to people like Bob Marley, Dennis Brown, Garnet Silk, and then started to write my own songs. Started to learn to play the guitar and stuff like that. So I would say from about 16 years old, 17 years old, I started to venture into reggae music. But before that, I just loved the beautiful sounds of a voice. That's why I ventured into people like Sade, and I also love very good songwriting. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was influenced a lot by soul music because when I played my guitar, I considered myself a neo soul artist, not a reggae artist when I was younger.
Cuando estaba joven se consideraba más como un artista neo y no un artista de reggae. No fue sino hasta la edad de 15, 16 años cuando empezó realmente a involucrarse en la música reggae. Muchos de nosotros asumiríamos que por nacer en Jamaica, en Kingston, pues naces rodeado de reggae, pero antes de eso él escuchaba más soul music como Sade y artistas internacionales que de igual manera se relacionan con la conciencia y la espiritualidad de la música reggae. Dice que no fue hasta dentro de los 15, 16 años que empezó realmente a estudiar y escuchar, disfrutar la música de Bob Marley, de Dennis Brown y todas estas estrellas que conocemos en el mundo entero como reggae legends. You just said you was born in the 12 tribes. You was grown as a
Yeah.
Rastafari man. Tell me what that means, what that influence as a youth does into you.
Um, well, when I was younger, that didn't dawn on me so much until I got to an age where I could understand what it was. But just the principles of goodness. My parents were both 12 tribe members, so you know we had to learn how to read our Bibles from a very young age. Me and my other siblings. So I had to be very studied on the word of the Most High within the Bible, the word of prophecies and goodness and stuff like that. Yeah, so I grew up in that tradition. You know what I mean? So in the 12 tribes, it's really about a spiritual awakening. You know what I mean? You know, there's all types of different religions, I would say, in the world, yes, but in Rastafari, it's really a spiritual awakening, a spiritual track. So, as I said, when I was younger, my trad wasn't so clear, you know. So, I mean, the knowledge was given to me by my parents, and then when I got to a certain age, it started to manifest into who I am now and what I do now, you know. So, the 12 tribe, it really created a spiritual groundation for me, you know.
Thank you, everybody, joining in. Greetings everywhere in the world. Big up, Warrior King. I'm translating to Spanish people the words of Micah Shemaiah for the audience of the mundoreggaeshow everywhere in Latin America and the world. Dice Micah Shemaiah que él creció dentro de las 12 tribus, lo que significa que creció de una manera espiritual y con el aprendizaje de sus padres, quienes son parte de las 12 tribus. Si no estás familiarizado con esto, de ahí viene realmente la espiritualidad de la cultura rasta, y no fue hasta que creció y se hizo ya más que adolescente, justo cuando empezaba a escuchar música reggae, que realmente empezó a comprender lo que era esta espiritualidad y este camino que maneja el estilo de vida, vaya, de las 12 tribus, creciendo en este ambiente. Antes no era la persona, tuvo que descubrir su camino en esta bendición que fue nacer alrededor de la cultura y las enseñanzas de las 12 tribus, y eso lo llevó a lo que es hoy Micah Shemaiah, una persona espiritual y consciente, lo que se denota 100% en su música, desde sus primeros tunes hasta sus tunes de amor. Siempre vas a escuchar un mensaje positivo en sus canciones, cosa que justo platicábamos con Makeda Dread hace un par de días. Hay que rescatar esto que es el roots conscious music. I was just talking a couple days ago with Makeda Dread, a promoter from San Diego, California, who's been in this for more than 40 years. And we were just talking about the importance of keeping the roots and the consciousness in reggae music, and respecting and keeping that in the world, respecting the roots of music and the consciousness on it. You say it was around 15, 16 that you actually started listening reggae music. How long did it have to pass for you to start actually writing music and going to the studio?
Well, I wouldn't say I listened to it before because my parents played it all the time, you know. But as I said, I just wasn't drawn to it like I was drawn to people like Sade and stuff like that, you know. But going into the studio, I wouldn't say studio because I mean most of those years we had no studio, you know. We actually recorded a lot of my songs are recorded in very unstudio like environments, to be honest, you know what I mean? So, and even today, I do that as well because for me, as long as the music has a certain breath in it and a certain air in it and a certain realism within it, it matters not where it is recorded, you know, as long as the aesthetics of music are fine, you know, I do love recording, you know, outside sometimes, you know. So, in the early days, me and my brethren, and we just, you know, we put computers together. We were working. I think we were using stuff like Nuendo at that time before we started to use Pro Tools. And we just, you know, set up computers anywhere and mics anywhere, and we just recorded, you know what I mean? So, like, even a song like Jah Live in Africa was recorded under a shed, you know what I mean? Under a very open shed with just musicians and we there just making the music, you know? So, my first studio experience, like studio, I would say was at Big Ship Studio at Freddie McGregor's place, where I recorded that song way back called "A Woman Is a Diamond," I think it's called. That was my first studio experience. I was given half an hour to record that song, and you know the guy just said, "Yo, you got half an hour, do your thing," you know. So it's probably one of the worst record. I wouldn't say worst, but it's a recording that I don't like so much because I didn't have enough time to deliver it properly. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was my first time in an official studio. You know, Freddie McGregor studio back in the day. You know.
Su primera experiencia en estudio oficialmente fue no en sus pininos, fue haciendo una canción que se llama Una mujer es un diamante en el estudio de Freddie McGregor, pero muchísimo antes de eso empezó a grabar con su hermano. Nada más ponían un par de computadoras mucho antes de aprender a usar Pro Tools, que es un programa el más común y el más profesional para grabar en estos tiempos. Usaban otro programa y grababan donde se les pegaba su regalada gana, básicamente. Su primera canción fue grabada realmente en un campo abierto, en un área abierta, y hasta la fecha le gusta mantener esa naturalidad en la música. No necesita realmente de estar en el más grandioso estudio, en el más renombrado estudio. Se fueron dando las oportunidades y se fue dando la oportunidad de tocar el micrófono mucho antes de llegar al estudio de Freddie McGregor a grabar su primer tune, en el que dice no está muy contento con el resultado, dice que no es la peor canción que tiene, pero pues no le gusta mucho porque estuvo media hora en el estudio para grabar esta canción. Te invito a que la disfrutes, igual que todo su repertorio, porque hay un chingo de repertorio musical de Micah Shemaiah. After this first song with Half Hour, what did you feel? What was your plan? Were you planning already to become an artist? When do you actually decide to take the microphone and sing out this conscious and spiritual music that you develop through the years?
Well, actually, I think when I was 20 years old, I was not planning to be an artist. Um, I went to school. I played really good football at school. Some people call it soccer in America. So actually, I grew up in the ghettos. So in the ghettos, your parents send you to school and to get a good education, so you can come out and help your family and just move up. You know what I mean? So music was I would say my passion. I loved it, but it wasn't something that I saw as a gift that could make me help my family. You know what I mean? So, firstly, I was thinking of playing football. So I went to Jamaica College. I played a lot of football when I was younger, and really at a very high level. And so I thought that was going to be my road. But incidentally, I think it was in 2000. I think when I was leaving school, I had a bad injury, a shoulder injury, which still exists to this day.
Oh no.
So I couldn't really continue. You know what I mean? Because the medical examinations and stuff like that I did, I got rejected because of the fact that I had this injury. So I went through a period of depression in 2001 as a kid. I was like, I think 18 years old or something like that. And then, I went to America, tried to get into college. That didn't happen. And I came back to Jamaica. Was in a very depressive state. And then I just decided to use my academical qualifications. So I went to a law firm called Patrick Bailey and Company. And I asked for a job. And this guy, Patrick Bailey, he gave me 60 seconds to basically, explain to him why I needed a job and why he should hire me. And he did hire me because I obviously I explained myself properly. So he hired me. I worked there for 7 years. Then I decided on the last year of working there that I would save up some money and try to, make a run for it musically, to buy some equipment and just create my own recording process. You know what I mean? So from that time till now, along with my brethren Danai from Java Evil, I've been an engineer also. I've been a producer also. So all of the first works that people heard from Micah Shemaiah was produced by myself. You know what I mean? I've never really had a producer or a record label or an agent or anything like that. You know what I mean? I've always done, even my tours are really organized by me and my wife. So it's strictly an independent road, and it's a road taken to avoid the pitfalls of the corrupted system and the corrupted world. So because of that I was able to keep my music clean and keep myself at a certain level. Yeah, so basically that's what happened. After working at the law firm, I went into music full time, deciding that I'm gonna just put all my energies into it, and that's what I've been doing since then, since I was I think 25, 24 years old.
Give thanks for that injury then.
No, I wouldn't say that, but I give thanks that my depression didn't take over my mind. I'm more giving thanks for that, you know.
Give thanks for that and for the music option too. Dice que fue hasta alrededor de los 20 años cuando estaba terminando la escuela. Todavía no sabía que iba a ser un artista. Él creía que iba a ser un futbolista porque era muy bueno en el fútbol. Fue al Jamaican College y estaba a punto de profesionalizarse al salir de ahí, pero tuvo una lesión en un hombro que hasta la fecha permanece. Decía yo gracias a esa lesión porque pues eso lo llevó eventualmente a crear música, pero después de esta lesión estaba en un sistema depresivo, estaba realmente hundido en la depresión. Intentó también viajar a Estados Unidos para entrar a la universidad, eso tampoco se dio. Entonces volvió a Jamaica y utilizando sus conocimientos de preparatoria y pues su profesionalismo, lo que había aprendido en la escuela, e intentó trabajar en una firma de abogados, lo que tampoco fue sencillo. El abogado le dijo, tienes 60 segundos para explicarme por qué quieres ser parte de esto. Lo contrataron porque obviamente se explicó muy bien en esos 60 segundos y trabajó ahí durante, si no me equivoco, 5 a 7 años, y fue dentro del primer año que decidió que iba a empezar a ahorrar ese dinero que estaba haciendo en la firma de abogados para empezar a invertir en la música, invertir en equipo, en micrófonos, etcétera, lo que le ha llevado junto a su hermano del Good or Very Evil a empezar a producir, y ha trabajado como ingeniero musical y productor desde sus primeros tunes. Yo he echado el ojo también en sus videos oficiales, él ha sido parte de su trabajo hasta la fecha, se mantiene muy involucrado en la producción, preproducción y postproducción de su música junto con su esposa ahora. I've seen your name not only on the pre-production, post-production, but also in your music videos. You're involved 100% into your music production.
Yeah, definitely. It's just as I said before. It's just the need to not be corrupted. You know what I mean? So I decided to really just learn what I could learn, and then I have a creative eye. So what I mean. Everybody has that creative element inside of them. So I guess if you push yourself hard enough, you can cover a lot of bases. And then the crew that I grew up with, which was Java Evil, was very creative. You know what I mean? People like Little Joe. A lot of people in this time might not know who Little Joe is, but he was the catalyst for a movement that they call the reggae revival or whatever it is. Because it was Java Evil at that time, which consisted of people like Chronic and Empress Sativa, my sister, which I'd known since I was 5 years old. So,
Nice.
it came from a very creative place. And as I said, we grew up, me and Sativa and a few of us grew up in the 12 tribes. And we grew up with parents and guidance, which really led us to stay away from certain corruptive elements. So we had to really, walk this road in such a way where we're not aligned to certain things. So it really forced me to learn and to just be adaptive. You know what I mean?
Fue más bien la necesidad de no ser corrompido y de no ser utilizado que decidió realmente ser un artista independiente desde el inicio, aprender como pudiera, lo que pudiera para autoproducirse. La crew con la que creció también fue una crew muy productiva. Ya Over Evil dice, quien no conozca, es los que iniciaron básicamente este tan llamado Reggae Revival, que incluye a voces como Chronics, como Empresativa, conocidísimas en el mundo. Saludos para Empresativa, de la familia del mundo reggae también, con quien él creció desde los 5 años, la ha conocido. Traen el linaje, traen la influencia musical y sobre todo la influencia de mantener un reggae consciente y no manejado ni manipulado por las masas y los sistemas. Big up to Empresativa, who is also part of the family of Mundo Reggae. Big up to everybody who has been involved in you growing as an artist and give you an inspiration. What will you say is been talking about reggae artists or music inspiration for your music or for your talents?
I'm sorry. Firstly, I just want to big up. I see a lot of people saying a lot of stuff, so I want to big up everybody. Don't know. Big respect every time. Sing, enough love. I'm not one for chats, but you don't know. Big respect. Um, my influences is really Bob Marley and Haile Selassie. And then also, you know, the Prophet God. When I was growing up in the 12 tribes, we had a founder called the Prophet God. Um, you know, as I say, it's just the goodness. You know, everybody has bad elements and bad traits and has done bad things. But in the Prophet God, firstly, I saw, you know, somebody who was endowed with a spirit and was blessed to be able to create and to establish the 12 tribes of Israel in the four corners of the earth, you know, which is actually prophecy, as the father would have said, send my sons and daughters from the four corners of the earth. So I saw this manifested. So the respect that I had, you know, for this man and for the 12 tribes of Israel came from the actual fulfillment of prophecies that I read about in my Bible. As I said, when I was a kid, I was, you know, learning in terms of the Bible because of my parents, who every week we had to read a chapter, every week we had to be up on it, you know what I mean? And
Discipline.
then also, you know, my parents as well, who are probably the greatest influences in my life. You know what I mean? And more so because they held firm regardless of whatever struggle. When I was born into struggle because they were struggling. So I was born into struggle, but I never saw them flinch. I never saw them back down. Never saw them get weak. You know what I mean? So they were massive inspirations for me. And then musically now, when I look through the whole of music, you know what I mean? Even Sade, as I said, I listened to as a kid. I loved her voice. I love groups like Black Mambata in South Africa. I love people like even Paul Simon. I love people like Lucky Dube. You know what I mean? Those were my influences when I started to really grow into myself as a Rastafari youth. But when I look through all of music and look through the level of songwriting that music required to touch the people, you know, I saw that Bob Marley was the epitome of that, you know what I mean? So I really, you know, dove into his music and started to see where he was coming from. And then I realized that I had a similar spirit. I had an orthodox spirit, as they would call it. So I believe that is where he wrote from. He wrote from that orthodox spirit, you know what I mean? So I decided to just do my own thing. You know, I never tried to sing like him or play this song. I don't even know how to play a Bob Marley song on my guitar actually, but I know every Bob Marley song. But when I was growing up, I tried not to be like anyone, but I tried to emulate the songwriting level of Bob Marley and just the depth of soul and the depth of delivery, the depth of word and just the excellence of being a musician in a spiritual way. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's what really brought me to where I am now, to be honest.
Sus principales influencias, le pregunto musicalmente hablando, y me relata de manera general su influencia en la vida y en la música, principalmente Bob Marley y Haile Selassie. Y también menciona algo muy importante, el ejemplo de sus padres. Creció de una manera, pues, con trabajos, ¿no? Con situaciones que a las que se tuvieron que enfrentar sus papás y nunca los vio sentarse, nunca les vio tirar la toalla y eso fue una gran enseñanza para él. Si hablamos musicalmente hablando, dice desde Lucky Dube, Sade, que mencionaba desde el principio, pero cuando empieza a tomar conciencia musical, como lo llamo yo, empieza realmente a ver la necesidad lírica que tiene esta música para poder llegar a la gente y a los corazones de la gente. Por ello es que su mayor influencia musicalmente se podría decir es Bob Marley, porque Bob Marley fue la epifanía del reggae, de la letra realmente, la poesía que hay dentro de la música es muy importante y nunca ha tratado de sonar como él, no puede ni cantar una canción de él, conoce todas sus canciones, pero realmente lo que le inspira de Bob Marley es su poder lírico y el poder de llegar a los corazones y no solamente a los corazones, a la mente de la gente, porque sabemos que la palabra es poder y el poder tiene mucha responsabilidad. We know that the world is power and the power is a lot of responsibility.
Yes,
Bob
true.
Marley knew it, and I can see you appreciate that. We can see that reflected in your music. There's
True.
albums and a lot of tunes. You are one of the artists in Jamaica, or the few ones in this era, putting out a lot of vinyl, different formats of music, and getting to the people in the sound system scene, in the festival scenes, touring and working hard. Would you say there's one tune or one album that actually give you the worldwide view, or it's been just little by little working hard every day?
Yeah, it's just a little by little. You know what I mean? Every song, as I tell people, just like the minds of people should be in this world. You know, if all our minds are connected in a network, then we would have very little differences. You know what I mean? So in my music, all the songs are connected. You know what I mean? All the songs come from the same place. Um, no song is really different than the other than the songs that I would really write for a personal perspective, like towards a woman or something like that, which I don't write many of those. But even those songs are still written in such a way where they are endowed with a spiritual nature. You know? So they all come from the same place. I don't know, maybe it's something great. Incidentally, when I was born, the exact year when Bob Marley died, you know, so I never got to meet Bob Marley. I never knew him. Actually, went to his funeral as a 1 year, maybe not 1 year, but a baby. So I think my journey very spiritually was set by the Most High from the very beginning. You know what I mean? 'Cause going through a lot of different phases with my friends and everything. You know, I was never tempted to be different. I was never tempted to switch. I always knew that this was the most powerful way that I could express myself and to actually play a part in healing the world. You know, because I mean, there's no other purpose for reggae music for me. Reggae music has always been a tool for joy, for dancing, for frolicking, for even being loose and lewd. You know what I mean? But when inception of reggae music, you know, and when Rastafari blessed us and put that into the whole music scheme of the world, it was only for one thing. It was for stopping the people, stopping the earth from destroying itself. You know. So reggae plays that role, and then obviously, if you're an intelligent person and you see what's happening in the world, you know, you would choose the way of trying to not be a part of the problem, but a part of the solution. You know, so I really try to be a part of the solution, which is why I stayed on this road. You know what I mean? And it's just a blessing through the spirit. Sometimes it's even more than I can say in words. I can give you my own account in my own way, but to be honest, it's more than I can say in words. Yeah, I can hear you, but you're still a little bit cracky, but I can hear
Maybe it's now the algorithm that is not liking me.
you. No, you're fine. Trust me. This has always been the case for me.
I truly appreciate your availability to continue this. I know, as we were saying, this is not something that we usually do. So me and my audience truly appreciate your time and the continued
Yeah, man, I'm
support.
here for the people, so I'll try my best.
And the people is here for you. Dice que está aquí por la gente. Usualmente no hace entrevistas, no hay mucho material donde le podamos ver y conocer a él hablando de su música. Su música y su presencia en el mundo es para que lo escuchen y disfruten del mensaje que es. Así que le agradecemos totalmente que siga presente. Dice que está aquí para la gente y sabemos que la gente está aquí para él. The people is here for you, continuing to join in this conversation, because we've been enjoying your music, as I was telling you. Thank you for touching base live and direct yesterday, but your music has been touching base with the audience long time on the Mundo Reggae radio show.
Yeah, man. We give thanks, man.
There is several tunes available, several albums and projects available, including Micah Shemaiah's music. You are featured in the new Havana means Kingston, which is the volume 2 of this combination of Cuba sounds with Jamaican sounds.
Yeah.
How that combination is, how you feel with your participation in this project?
Actually, I'm half Cuban. You know, my grandmother came from Cuba, so it's kind of a big deal for me. So I do give thanks. Yeah, man. Jake Savannah is the Australian virgin that is running that show. He's my virgin. I've known him for a few years now. We have done works together. So yeah, it was really, as I say, you know, one of those things where it's like it's different and it shows a unification. You know what I mean? And I'm all for that. You know, so it was really a no-brainer for me to get involved in stuff like that. And then the rhythms that were sent to me or that we did were very different. You know what I mean? It wasn't reggae. It was more to, you know, a different feel. You know what I mean? And it challenged me as well, you know, as a musician. You know, so that was a very good thing. And then it's another way how I could spread the message of goodness, you know, on top of a beautiful beat. You know what I mean? So as I said, it was a no-brainer, to be honest.
Está muy contento con su participación en el nuevo álbum de Mr. Savannah. Es el volumen 2 de La Havana Means Kingston, como te mencionaba. Tiene una canción ahí y dice que realmente es algo grande para él porque su abuela era cubana, es parte cubano, entonces era como parte del destino que él participara en esta canción y al mismo tiempo fue todo un challenge, dice, para él participar en este reading porque no era reggae, no era la música que estaba acostumbrado a grabar, pero la armó muy bien, es mi tune favorito, debo decirlo, ya lo he mencionado en el show. I have to say it to you, I have mentioned it before in the show, it's one of my favorite tunes on this album. I love
Which one?
combination albums. Your tune,
Oh,
The
oh,
Havana Means King. Yeah,
okay.
my favorite thing in albums, I always say it, is combination. If there's a combination in an album, it doesn't matter if it's the number 12 in the song in the album, I will straight to the combination first. So because of this, I'm happy you made
Thanks,
it to
man.
this album. It's been a
Mm.
successful project and a great musical collaboration,
Yeah,
I would
it's a
say,
great
that you have.
musical project, which is, you know, very important for me in terms of the growth of my own musical self. You know, and actually we're touring that album. Half of my original Dread tour right now is with Havana meets Kingston. So we just played in the Liverpool Philharmonic a couple days ago. That was a great experience. I've never played in an acoustic venue of such before, so that was a great experience as well. You know, performing with people
Parte de
like
su
Brenda and Julito, you know what I mean, and Jesus, and also Jake himself, who's a brilliant piano player. So musically, as I say, it's a beautiful project, you know, and I'm honored to be a part of it. You know.
Está honrado de participar en este proyecto. Parte de su tour por Europa viene precisamente de estar tocando con el crew de La Habana Mix Kingston, luego para Julito Padrón, para todos los involucrados. Acaban de tocar en el Filarmónico de Liverpool, nunca había tocado en un lugar acústico. Está muy, muy contento con esta experiencia y por supuesto nosotros vamos a seguirla disfrutando. We're gonna keep enjoying that tune, that collaboration. If somebody is around Europe, keep up with the Havana Means Kingston tour, the Micah Shemaiah tour, because they're gonna be sharing many, many different stages. I like
Yeah,
to
we'll be at Roar. We'll be at Roar Reggae Festival on the 6th. So that'll be our last show. So who hasn't seen the show yet, you can come and check that out. It's really a dynamite show. It's been pretty epic so far, most all of the shows that we've done. So yeah, you can come and check that out. It's a different experience. It's, as I say, it's really Cuba meets Jamaica, and and for me, it's just a fulfillment because my mother, from my mother's side of the family, actually, her mother was Cuban, so I am half Cuban actually.
la mamá de su mamá era cubana, entonces está todavía más emocionado y agradecido de participar en esta experiencia musical, que es lo que es, realmente es toda una experiencia musical. Si no estás familiarizado con este proyecto, es un proyecto que une la influencia musical de Cuba con la influencia musical de Jamaica, precisamente del lugar donde nació, que es Kingston, Jamaica. Big up to everybody involved in that project. If somebody cannot go to this festival, I'm sure, and I hope we can people out of there can enjoy some recordings online. We kind of keep looking forward to it, to your
Yeah.
participation, and of
I'll
course
soon
the
post a few
hopeful
of the shows as well.
a different style too is Micah Shemaiah style on still this album.
Yeah, that's
That's
my style. Yeah.
another trouble. This
That's
is
my
your
style.
album. It's by Productions. I see some good names on it, from TPI on the mix, from Russ Elliott on the coordination of the project, to the Mighty Diamonds on some of the backing
The
vocals.
album was
Tell me,
produced by Zion Kings, which is it's like a collective of just powerful youths doing goodness and good music. So people like TPI or Jadi, I mean, Russ Elliott, Moonbane, all of these people are a part of the whole, and Drew Keys, who is not here with us anymore. Big up Drew anyway, they in the spiritual realm, is it me? Yeah, it's a collective of just, as I said, just beautiful people, beautiful musicians who put their soul into making good music so that people can live a better life. So yeah, it was a great collaboration. It was in COVID time, which was very challenging and very trying. So a lot of the songs that you hear are a reflection of my thoughts within that time.
muchos de los mensajes que escuchamos en este su más reciente álbum, Still, que todavía es el reflejo de lo que estaba pensando y sintiendo durante el proceso de este álbum, que fue creado en tiempos COVID, lo que fue todo un reto para ellos. Tiene nombres muy importantes, digo, para Yuyu Hacia el Cielo, de la familia de Brian Adams, quien fue el productor principal. Hay mucha gente involucrada, lo decía yo, desde TPI, reconocido mezclador ingeniero, hasta Russ Elliott, súper conocido en el área de California por sus contribuciones al reggae music. Russ Elliott is very not at my area on this side of the border. I
Oh
come from
wow!
Tijuana, Mexico, which is just crossing the border with California. I'm from San
Yeah.
Diego. And
Oh wow! I didn't
the
know that.
first I said on your album was Russ Elliott, because my zone crew, Big of Just I, Cosmo, Suspect, and Pedro, they were the kids that learned from Russ Elliott's teachings in San Diego and the movement that he
Wow!
helped to create.
Wow! That's even more powerful that I know that now.
Powerful
Wow!
connection, powerful connection to have this conversation with you. I have a conversation pending with him about all his participation around the world, because he has been contributing to reggae music, conscious
Mm.
music, in all
And he's
styles and
he's really
formats of.
yeah, he's really a strong virgin. He really also, his words, his advice, the way he deals with situations in a calm way, and tries to extend himself, so that the goodness can actually come out. It's very admirable. So, and I haven't known him for a very long time. I've known him since doing this album, and it's been a pleasure. You know what I mean? It's been a pleasure to meet people of such levels, and now what you're telling me, it's even greater than I even thought before. So, yeah, man, big respect to us, Elliot. Every time, Jed, anywhere you're there in the world, see?
Big respeto para Russ Elliott, quien próximamente estará también conversando para el mundo reggae sobre su participación en la historia del reggae en San Diego, California y el mundo entero. Micah Shemaiah dice que no lo conoce desde hace mucho, lo conoce apenas desde este proyecto, que es su álbum Still, que Russ Elliott hizo la coordinación de músicos y más. Así que vamos a estar pendientes de la historia que sigue escribiendo en esto. We're gonna keep looking forward to hear that experiences with Russ Elliott soon for the show,
Yeah.
because he keeps in the seats around the world. You know him since this project. You were just saying, still your recent album was a challenge in COVID times. What was the most challenging part of creating this album?
No, the album wasn't challenging actually. Writing songs for me is not really challenging, but the situation that we found ourselves in during COVID time was very challenging, and then it gave me time to reflect, and just to view the world in a very close spiritual level. So that's where songs like Wicked Babylon came from, and you know what I mean. It's just being able to view what is happening on a real level, and then spiritual. is a song which I had to make because I noticed that most of my friends started to take the road of fame and money and popularity and all the crap that is. Because for me, as I said before, reggae music serves one purpose. You know, it's not for fame, it's not for fortune. These things are given unto you if you do it right. You know what I mean? So for me, the music that I make, if I make that just like Bob Marley, the wealth of Bob Marley's music can never be limited. You know, his kids are obviously living that right now. So the wealth can never be limited, but he didn't sing for the wealth. Yeah, Bob Marley had lines at his gate when I was a kid. I used to hear stories like that. He had lines at his gate with people coming to him that had all types of business ideas, all types of things, and he used to just help people. You know, my mother. I heard a story once that Bob gave a woman some money to. She wanted to create like she made clothes, like she was a dressmaker or something like that, you know. And that woman, he gave her some money that she ended up creating a factory or something substantial, you know, where she could, yeah, you know. So for me, this is the meaning of reggae. This is the meaning of Rastafari and singing of a certain spiritual order and a certain depth, and also Africa as well. You know what I mean? In the early days of the movement, my song "Jolly in Africa" was very powerful amongst me and my peers because it basically spoke to, you know, that need and that history and that whole connection of Rastafari and us as a people to Africa and who we were. So I just said "Jolly in Africa" because it certainly doesn't live around here. You know what I mean? Obviously, because this place is extremely corrupt. I would believe that Africa still maintains a lot of the spirituality that the world needs. So hopefully one day, you know, we can all see that. Um, yeah. So you know, that's really the journey. You know.
Those are the facts quoted in spiritual and the whole 10 songs, well, 8 songs, with including 2 dub versions in your album Still. La espiritualidad es, como lo mencionaba desde un inicio, la misión en su música espiritual. El tune número 1 en su álbum lo escribió precisamente para toda esa gente que son sus amigos, personas cercanas, que empezaron, como decimos en México, a venderse a la industria. Su música, como lo decía de su inspiración de Bob Marley, no es el hacer negocio, no es el beneficio desde que creció, decía hace un rato, él nació precisamente cuando falleció Bob Marley, fue a su funeral siendo un niño de 1 año aproximadamente, pero siempre escuchó historias de Bob, que cuenta que su mamá le contaba que había líneas y líneas, él recuerda actually de las líneas y líneas para visitar a Bob, con gente que le venía a proponer todo tipo de negocios para crear dinero, y él realmente lo que quería era ayudar a la gente que lo necesitaba. Y cuenta una historia de Bob dándole un dinero a una señora que hacía ropa. La señora terminó creando toda una empresa. Ese es el mensaje de la música, y esa es la espiritualidad en la música. El ser unidos y el ayudar al prójimo lo continúa esa inspiración Micah Shemaiah en el tema número 1 de 8. El total de este álbum son 10 temas, incluye 2 versiones dubs de lo que es Roots Rock Sound y Natural Man. Tell me about the message in Natural Man and Roots Rock Sound. Did you decide to create these dub versions? How the dub idea comes and the dub influence in your music?
Dub is always gonna be in my music because I was brought up in a Jollof culture, you know, Brigadier and Alawi. Alawi is the father of Empress Sativa, so she also grew up. She's like my twin, you know. She's like the female version of what I do right now. You know what I mean? Very powerful
So,
sister, you know, and I respect her highly because she gives me a lot of strength. Not even she doesn't even need to talk really. She just once she goes out there and just does what she does, it gives me a lot of strength, and I'm sure it gives a lot of the Rastafari people in the world a lot of strength too, to know that you can just, you know, stand up in Babylon and not be daunted and not be phased by all of what is happening, you know, because we have been given a certain strength, you know, to overcome, you know. So, yeah, in Natural Man,
You know, just as the lyrics say, as I say, my songs are very simple. You know, I try to write my songs in such a way where people don't have to dig too much to really find out what is happening. You know, so in Natural Man, it says what it says. You know, it says you have to be this in this time. You know, to be the spiritual man and to hold on to the spiritual part of you is very important, and it's quite evident. It's quite obvious. You know what I mean? A lot of people have gone off into a different direction, so it wouldn't be so apparent to them still. But as I said before, you know, we see the corruption, and if our eyes are open to what is happening, you know what I mean, then you would want to hold on to a piece of what is spiritual, a piece of you, because what the world does, and what superficiality and commercialism and materialism does, is 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 tear you away from yourself. Because understanding who you are, firstly, as a person who was born in this world, you were born firstly to just be and just connect with everyone, and be connective with everyone. So when I was growing up, I never saw colors, I never saw races. You know, give thanks for growing up in the 12th tribe, which taught me about Ham, Shem, and Japhet, and where that whole, you know, origin comes from. You know, so I've never seen people as different, but I see people's ways, and I can discern the spiritual ways of others. You know, so for me, it's not about color or race. It's about who you are, and what your intentions are. So, you know, and that's why even the powerful elders used to say, "Death to black, white, Chinese, alien, whatever oppressor." You know what I mean? Because it has nothing to do with color for us. You know? It has to do with a spiritual connection. You know. So yeah, that's where it really comes from. You know what I mean? And roots rock sound, that's straight Jadi. You know what I mean? Jadi and Tippy them are top level musicians. You know what I mean? And they're not, I wouldn't say they're just top level musicians. I would say they put their spirit. If you watch Tippy doing a dub, a live dubbing or whatever, you can see that he's actually putting his spirit into it. Yeah, he's not just making some random stuff. You know, so. And similar thing with Jadi, similar thing with Moonbane and Drew Keys and all these guys. You know, they put their all spiritually into making the music, because I mean, back in the day, reggae would never have been recognized, would have never been heard, never have been given a chance if it wasn't so excellent in its creation. Yeah. So even with the old tapes and the old this and whatever, you know, it was excellent. You know, Tubby's make sure that what he was doing was excellent. You know, all of the Lee scratch, you know, even if it was knocking a bottle in a rhythm, it was excellent. You know what I mean? So it was always about excellence of the sound, and then fitting that with the spiritual energy, and that's what makes reggae what it is. You know, so dub, you know, will always be there for me. You know, and the whole vibration of just, you know, goodness. You know, because as I said, that's what it comes down to. You know, it's a vibration of goodness. You know, whatever it is that, even if I'm in a song, I'm trying to scold someone, or not really scold someone, but scold myself. Because most of my songs I write firstly for myself, from myself. So I do make a lot of mistakes too, like everybody else. I try to limit them to something that is not going to be hellish, which means that I'm not going to lose my soul over it. So, you know, but I do wrong things as well, you know. So firstly, my songs are to correct myself and to keep me in a certain line, and I when I sing it, I hope it does the same for others, you know. So that's where those songs came from, you know. And in this time, I would say, you know, for me personally, you know, these things are needed. These types of lyrics, these types of songs are needed, and I don't really see it coming. I see most artists now trying to be stars, you know. So, and I'm not really interested in that, to be honest. You know, what I mean, I have a lot of other talents that I could have done or could have been, and you know, what I mean, in the law firm, I actually made more money than what I make in music. You know what I mean? So, to be honest, it's just a goodness. You know? Yeah, it's just trying to, yeah, to, and I have a son, and even more now, I have to make sure that he's able to live in a world where there's goodness, because what we see, the progression of what we're seeing right now, in the next 20 years, goodness is going to be out the window, and only be in small pockets in the society. So I have to do what I have to do, you know what I mean?
Le preguntaba yo de las dos versiones dubs incluidas en su álbum Natural Man Y Roots Rock Sound me dice que Natural Man, como toda su música, viene de esa prosperidad y esa intención de brindar bienestar a todo el mundo, de dar el mensaje, como siempre, de no venderse. La comercialización, la industrialización en la música nunca han sido su objetivo, y hacía más dinero en la firma de abogados que lo que hace en la música, pero siente la responsabilidad de dejar este mensaje de bienestar en su música. Con Natural Man dice: sus canciones siempre son principalmente un mensaje para él y después un mensaje para la gente. Crea sus canciones principalmente para él, es un mensaje de retrospección, retroinspección, y más ahora que tiene un hijo y quiere encargarse y dedicarse a dejarle ese mensaje de bienestar, porque a como ve el mundo y a cómo vamos en el mundo, pues eso en un futuro se va a ver en empaques pequeños, ¿no? El mensaje agradece y menciona anteriormente a Iniciativa como su gemela en esto, y le da muchas gracias a ella, a la influencia de su papá, quien fue un showman. Lo hemos escuchado en la música de Iniciativa, y se siente muy identificado con eso, con el mensaje que crean. Natural Man es creado para darte el mensaje de que hay que mantenerse natural. Cuando uno viene al mundo es para conectar con el mundo, para conectar con los demás, y hay que ser y conectar con los demás con toda la empatía que uno pueda, y eso pues nos los da la espiritualidad que viene en la música. Roots Rock Sound es totalmente creación y mensaje dirigido por TPI y JD. El dub siempre va a estar en su música, la espiritualidad siempre va a estar en su música, lo ha estado desde el día uno y lo va a estar en el futuro seguramente. I truly give thanks for the spirituality and the consciousness of reggae music. It has influenced not only the Rasta people, it has influenced people like me that grow up in the industrialized world, and has given us that spiritual and that knowledge about politics, about the system, about the whole tricks of the world. So give thanks to you, to Empress Ativa, to all the conscious artists coming from Jamaica and from the world. Big up to everybody doing stuff for reggae music. Is a cultural thing that should keep being in each corner of the world. Talking about still your album, your collaboration, your tour, your life, your growing, your influence. I give thanks to getting to know you and the people watching this interview. Is there a plan after your tour, after this album? Do you have more tunes coming out for sure, more albums coming out for sure? But is there something to close this year that we can expect to?
I'm not sure if I'm presently working on. I have a few albums. Yes, I have an album called The Bush Tea, which is for me and my band, the Jedites. You know, it's going to be our own little project together, and it's kind of one of those secret weapons that I have. You know, so just to kick the beast in his face one more time, and then also I have an album called Jamaica, which I'm doing with Evidence Music right now, which is really geared towards putting I call it dancehall roots. You know what I mean? So it's really geared to the dancehall, yeah. And I will be dropping it. You know, I'm not sure this year, but hopefully this year, yeah. So that album is called Jamaica. People know the song Jamaica, so you can look for the album. And as I say, it's dancehall roots. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, man.
Big up Evidence.
Politicians in my war if it will get pretty care. You know what I mean? And it's a very simple, as I said, the lines are very simple, but it's exactly what is happening in our lives today. You know? Governments and politicians are supposed to be servants. Yeah, the king of a country is the biggest servant. That's what I was taught in the spiritual world, and also in the practical world. That's what it should be. But for some reason, it has turned upside down. You know, so the governments are supposed to be serving our interests. So therefore, if the people is always crying, then obviously the government is not serving our interests. So we need to check that. Yeah, we need to check who we put in these positions, and then also, we now have militaries, which is setting up wars all over the world, and when I look at it, every ethnicity and every country, every people from every country now live in every country on the planet. So basically, you can find a Chinese woman living in Brazil. You can find a Brazilian woman living in in Taiwan. You know what I mean? You can find a United States, person living in Italy, and vice versa. Africa, you name it. So
Mexico,
we
Hawaii.
are. The world is a metropolis. The world is now, one of those, you know what I mean? So for me, having militaries and creating nuclear bombs and stuff like that is ridiculous. So the people need to take back the power. The people need to understand that our governments are steering us into a direction. Yeah. So two people have a disagreement, within governmental levels, diplomatic levels, and then two whole countries have to fight for that difference, for that disagreement. That's ridiculous. So we need to. That's what my music is aiming to do, to remove these boundaries and these, not even boundaries. It's just stupidity. For me, it's just stupid. For me, if you want to live, if you want to send your child to a good school, you don't worry. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So all these things need to be wiped out, and we need to take back the power as a people. So I will forever be making music to that effect. Um, as I said before, these kind of things like technology, I don't have a problem with it, but I know that it's not geared towards promoting the roots. The world is now created AI. You know what I mean? And I live on an NI. I live on natural intelligence. I don't live on artificial intelligence. So we are going down the path of artificial intelligence, which means that we ourselves will become artificial one day. So people need to be careful of where they're going, and where they're taking this world. And I will forever be making songs to that effect. You know what I mean? I have another album called Natural is the Mystic, coming as well, with Just Solid Rock Music, which is another powerful reggae label that is really doing great works. And songs on that album are geared towards basically exactly what I'm saying right now, to enlighten the people as to their own plight, you know what I mean? Because it is your own doing. When you sit and watch these things happen, it is your own doing. You can't point fingers when you just sit and watch. You know what I mean? So that's where we are now. And as I say, I would ask all artists, everybody who considers themselves an artist, you know what I mean? Look in the mirror and ask yourself, really and truly, what would be the greatest expression of your art? Would the greatest expression of your art be a continuation of life, and something that could help everyone to live in a balance? Or should the greatest expression of your art be destruction? It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So, yeah. As I said, I will always be fighting that kind of fight. And whatever you hear from me, whenever you hear it from me, it's the same thing. And I'm not the only roots artist in the world. My music is not the only conscious music. So if you don't hear Micah Shemaiah on a particular day, or if you don't particularly like the voice that Micah Shemaiah has, there's other voices, there's other messages that are of the same potency. Go out and find it, you know what I mean, and try to stand up in this world. Stand up and be counted, and not just be a sheep. Yeah.
Nos invita y le invita a todo artista a verse primero en un espejo y decidir realmente quiénes quieren ser. El futuro en su música siempre va a hablar de lo mismo que ha hablado en diferentes estilos, en diferentes formatos, pero siempre nos va a decir que tengamos cuidado. Nos habla de 3 álbums en camino, uno con Evidence Music, otro autoproducido con su banda y otro con otro sello llamado Natural Mystic, en los que, como el que nos viene en Jamaica, el tune que ha rodado por el mundo reggae, está en 7 pulgadas disponible, en el que habla precisamente de esa necesidad de que nosotros tengamos importancia en a quién elegimos como gobernantes y no dejemos que 2 personas que tengan diferencia entre ellos terminen haciendo pelear a todo un país en contra de otro. Pongamos atención y nos involucremos en quién se encuentra por ahí para que no terminemos siendo una persona manipulada por inteligencias artificiales. La tecnología está ahí y siempre te lo digo, hay que aprender a usar la tecnología y no que la tecnología nos use a nosotros. Eso significa música, nos da en exclusive que se viene un álbum este año, probablemente con Evidence Music, llamado Micah Shemaiah, en un estilo más dancehall reggae que él lo llama, how you saying earlier during the interference, you have the versatility to do tunes. You have something which is more dancehall style with De La Vega 808, also Evidence Music. Big up Evidence Music
Every time.
for putting it out and exploring your versatility. Big up Brother Culture, it was around there, part of the Evidence Music family too, from UK. Big up to each and every level producer and promoter of the world supporting the music of Micah Shemaiah. Nos decía también que no es el único artista de roots en el mundo. Si no escuchas en tus playlists diarios a Micah Shemaiah, te invita a escuchar a más artistas que tengan este mensaje de manejarlos con una inteligencia natural y no una inteligencia artificial. You were just saying and recommending to listen to more artists, conscious artists, roots music singers. And I see you promoting or sharing recently Woman Works as Nadia Makhanoff with a powerful message, a powerful new music. There
That's
is
Nadia?
always, that's Nadia. I think you share it, the Nadia Makhanoff.
Yes, Nadia is also one of those voices that goes straight to your soul, you know what I mean? And she writes powerful songs. You know, I have a song that I called Words of Wisdom that I wrote for her recently and produced as well. And also we have another track that I'm going to release before the end of the year that we have together, which is it is another powerful message as well. So the voices that are singing reggae right now are voices that, you know, could be singing anything else. You know what I mean? So it definitely is that, you know, we need to see goodness. We need to see, you know, people stand up and just be counted and just do the right thing, you know. So Nadia, yes, is one of those powerful voices out there. You have also people in Europe as well, you know, youths like Marcus Gad, you know what I mean? Also my brethren in Hungary called Giras, who's fighting a fight beyond music. You know, he just came out of jail. He's been locked up for 1 month just for standing up against his government for actually cutting down trees and stuff like that, and dealing with refugees in a very horrible way. You know what I mean? So there are people that are fighting the fight, and I would say, you know, this world would not seem so peaceful to a lot of people who walk up and down with their earphones in their ears and act like nothing is happening if you didn't have people like Marcus Garvey, who lost his life for the you know what I mean, for the betterment of the world. You know what I mean, from the very beginning we've had people losing their lives, spending their whole lives sacrificing their nice days and their beach flex and their party flexes and their dinner dates, you know what I mean, to make sure that the world doesn't plunge into darkness, you know. So imagine if we all had that focus, then none of us would have the burden of doing that. You know, there would be no burden on anyone. We would have a better world instantaneously. So right now, the world is basically leaving it up to very few people to try and just keep the light on. Because if the light doesn't stay on, you know, it's monsters and zombies. Yeah. So people, as I say, you need to be careful of where you're going and where you're taking your families, you know, and just look practically, you know. If I'm living corrupt, and I live across from you, say we live on the same street, right, and I'm living corrupt, I go in my house, I kiss my daughter, I kiss my son, I want them to eat the best food, I want them to have the best experience of life possible, but I'm living corrupt and I'm taking from corruption, and then the man in front of me that lives over the next door, he's doing the same thing, but he wants the same thing for his family. It's not possible. People, it's not possible. Yeah, evil doesn't beget good. It will never happen. So don't be stupid. All right, try to be honest with yourself for once in your lives. Yeah.
Facts. Hay que tratar de ser honestos con uno mismo, nos dice, no hay que ser estúpidos, hay que dar cada paso con inteligencia, y nos menciona unos cuantos nombres de artistas alrededor del mundo, no solamente de Jamaica, cantando este mensaje consciente, y no nada más eso, sacrificando su libertad. Si no hubiera personas como Marcus Garvey, comenta, el mundo no se vería tan pacífico en este momento. Imagínense, dice, si todos nos dedicáramos realmente a no dejarnos engañar, a no dejarnos usar y a no dejar que nos conviertan en marionetas. powerful message always coming from the artist and the man, Micah Shemaiah. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the availability to do this interview, which you don't do too often, especially in the middle of a tour. Thank you for the consciousness and spirituality on your music. I truly look forward for those 3 albums coming up and many more productions that you are involved.
Yes, anymore. Thank you very much too. I can feel your energy. Obviously, you are trying to make sure that your program is is remembered for the goodness, and yourself as well. So I would say blessing to you and your family, and just Rastafari or being or not being Rasta, is really a matter of where we are in the state of the world today. You know what I mean? So, if you're conscious and if you're trying to do your best to make sure that it all doesn't burn down, then I would say you're aligned with the principles of what Rasta are dealing with in this time. Yeah? Because as the prophecy says, and no devil, nothing will stop that. Righteousness will take over this earth and will run this earth one day. You know what I mean? And who has lost their way, people, I want to say something to people that people might find very difficult to understand, but still I'm going to say it, yeah? If you think about life in an essence, yeah, you live one lifetime, and most people believe that in that lifetime you have to accomplish everything, and in terms of your physical whatever. But spiritually, we are given lifetimes. That means each flesh on this plane is the flesh is encasing a spirit. The flesh is just so that you can live on this plane of the earth biologically, yeah. But the spirit that is within you is forever. Yeah, the spirit that lives within this flesh is forever, and has not been on this earth for the first time. Even the baby that has just been born. Yeah. So if you think about it, the Most High has given us time and time and time and time and time to fix whatever bad thing or whatever evil that is within us. Because as I always tell people, to remove the evil from your mind is the journey. Yeah. When this earth was created, it wasn't created from evil, but evil, transgression, became a part of our existence. Yeah, so now mankind has to trod in such a way to remove that evil from his mind, and then we end up in a place of paradise, as you'd call it, which a lot of people don't even believe in nowadays because they just can't see a world without killing and wickedness. But it does exist, because if it exists in your mind, just as how the cars and the this and the that man makes exist in your mind, the paradise exists there. Yeah, so try to remove the evil from your mind, because as I said before, this spirit is forever living. And if you end up on that time and space where you have not focused on cleaning your spirit and getting yourself to a level where it is in network with the rest of the earth and in goodness, your spirit is going to suffer. And this flesh that we have now cannot see sufferation like that. This flesh that we have cannot taste sufferation like that. That sufferation is beyond what you can even imagine. So if it's even only for the fear of that, change your ways, people. Yeah, because obviously we're not going down the right path.
Comenta Micah Shemaiah que quiere dar un mensaje que no mucha gente podría entender, pero quiere que lo medites. En esta vida nacemos sin maldad y nacemos con la oportunidad de corregir muchos errores de la humanidad. La piel que tenemos el día de hoy considera que es la piel que va a tener nuevamente. No es la primera vez que viene esta piel al mundo, no es la primera vez que nosotros como espíritus venimos a este mundo, y no es la última vez de no creer en un mundo sin maldad. Te invita a borrarte esa imagen y a realmente visualizar un mundo sin maldad, sin matanzas, y a continuar con una misión en tu vida positiva. Y creemos muchos que en esta vida hay que completarlo todo, hay que lograrlo todo, y no es así. Tenemos la oportunidad de disfrutar la vida, de disfrutar y ayudar a los demás a disfrutarla y no creer que piel es todo lo que tienes y hay que vivir la vida porque la vida es una sola. Vamos a tener más oportunidades de volver, pero cada una de ellas lo tenemos que hacer bien, bien y estar conscientes de que podemos hacer el bien en el mundo y que podemos cambiar a este mundo para bien en muchos aspectos. Thank you again for your message. In your
You see
music,
that?
in your
Somebody says, yes, sir, I try to walk the right path, but have to deprogram some of the Babylon teachings. You don't need to deprogram anything. Yeah? What does bad teach you? And what does Babylon? Innately, we know what is good. Innately, we know what is bad. You know what I mean? People tell themselves that they don't, that means you're going to go on the wrong path. Innately, within your heart, within your soul, you know what is good, you know what is bad. So, the only thing that the Babylon teaching does is to, if you're actually trying to be conscious, it makes you even more conscious. Yeah? Because to know the horrors of what bad is something that can actually bring the goodness inside of you even to the forefront even more. You know what I mean? So there's no programming. Babylon can't program us. You know what I mean? When we let ourselves be weak, then we are following a certain path. Yeah? And I would dare say that the programming that you speak of is basically being afraid. Yeah? Being afraid of losing your house, being afraid of losing your car, being afraid of losing the man that you love or the woman that you love, being afraid of all these things that Babylon makes us afraid of, because they have taken away that divine connection, that spiritual connection that is higher. Yeah, which makes us not see all of what we have as sentimental, but actually as a connective thing. It's all connected. You know what I mean? It's all connected. So don't think that you need to deprogram yourself. What you need to do is to use what you see in Babylon as a catalyst to make the goodness of yourself come forward. Because there's no way you can tell yourself that what you see in Babylon is good. Yeah, you know what it's doing. I just saw today a picture that someone posted with a black man in chains and a net covering him, which seemed like it was like maybe way back in the day when they used to do slavery and all of that. And the statement on it was that how can a person that does this to another human being try to teach me about God? Yeah. So when you see things like that, you understand what it is. So as I say, we can see the terrible nature of ourselves. We can see the worst of ourselves. We can see how bad we are and how bad we're doing and what we're doing to hurt others. So it's just putting a challenge on you to face it and to change it. Yeah, my mother always says, catch it. What you say? Catch it, change it, fix it. If you don't catch it before it gets to a point where it engulfs you, then you can't fix it again, because by that time you'll already be dying. Yeah, because we have a time. Everyone has a time on this earth. Yeah, and in your time, try to catch it. Yeah, Babylon can never program anyone. You understand? Babylon is also a part of what is happening. Babylon is man. That's why His Majesty came and he spoke to the compassion of the devil himself. Yeah, he spoke to the compassion of the evilest people, because even the evilest people, as I told you a while ago, want to have their kids going to the best school, want to kiss their daughters on their foreheads and say, hey, honey, and want to have this nice life. You know what I mean? So even the wickedest man on the planet is endowed with compassion. You understand? So we cannot be programmed if we don't want to be programmed. We cannot turn into something if we don't want to. Yeah? We are doing all of this bad thing because we are scared to lose what they have created for us. Yeah, they told us that all of it, just like the devil said to Christ how many thousand years ago, which we read, bow down to me and everything I will give you of the world. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing that we're all doing. We're all doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, we're taking the crap off the system and becoming evil because of what we are afraid to lose. Yeah, you're afraid to lose your car. You're afraid to lose your house. You're afraid to lose all of these things. And then who's going to look at you that way? How you're going to look in public? How blah, 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 all that types of crap. You know what I mean? Seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High
and everything shall be added after. That means whatever is added to you when you seek ye first the kingdom is glorious and is pure and is true. Yeah? If I get $1 from somebody who is evil, that dollar, what I'm doing for my dollar, it purges that dollar. You know what I mean? Because money is just money. Money is just to be spent. Money can't make you evil. It can't make me evil either. But what you do for it, that makes the difference. Yeah? So people need to be very careful of how they look at themselves and how they look at the system. Yeah, the system has no power over anyone. No one. The spirit is far more powerful than anything that the world you can't even imagine. Right now they're trying to find the Big Bang. You know what I mean? You know how stupid that is? Humankind is the most powerful creation in the whole universe. We are going forward. From the Big Bang to here is forward. Going to the Big Bang is backward. Going to space is backward. There's no planet that has been endowed with the natural essence that can actually sustain life like the Earth. Obviously, everything was a trial and error before it got to the Earth. So the Earth is the perfect creation of what a biological existence can be. Yeah? And so too we as a biological casing for our spirit. Yeah? So anything else that we do from here, trying to find all of what happened back then, we're going backwards. We're supposed to be going forward. And the only way mankind goes forward from here is not technology. It's fixing the crap that is within us. Yeah? Because if we don't do that, we'll have no earth. We'll have nothing. You see, yesterday, Ukraine was a beautiful city. What a beautiful city. Metropolis, Africans, Chinese, everybody living in there. Yeah? Today it's a rubble. Today it's a rubble. A few years ago, Libya was a country where kids went to school for free. You didn't have to pay to go to school in Libya. It was a beautiful country. Now it's a rubble. Yeah? Who's doing these things? Who's doing these things? If you sit on a street and you see cars only and nobody walking, it's the most boring life. It's people. It's people. It's us. We are doing these things. We are destroying each other. Yeah? So, I mean, as I said before, there are certain things that are beyond words. You know what I mean? What is in my heart and my spirit and my mind, it's almost impossible to express. You know what I mean? But you know, you try to write songs, you know, to express some of it, but most of it you can't express. Yeah. So the people have to just look at the goodness, man. Just look at the goodness within yourself and know, say, anything else is wrong. Yeah. Anything else is just wrong. It's as simple as that.
The goodness is in each and every of us, and is in each and every of us to make a change each and every day.
Every
Respondiendo
day.
respondiendo al comentario de alguien en el chat que decía que trata de ser bueno, pero el sistema de Babilonia tiene que deprogramarse de eso. Y Micah Shemaiah comenta, no hay que quitarse esa idea de la cabeza de que hay que cambiarnos el programa. Nos programamos nosotros mismos, incluso hasta el más matón del universo tiene esa bondad en sí mismo, y está en nosotros mismos el tomar una decisión por decisión, que no afecte a los demás, que no nos afecte a nosotros mismos, porque los cambios grandes, negativos en el mundo los estamos haciendo nosotros mismos al crear este modo y este pensamiento de que ya me hizo así Babilonia, ya me hizo así el sistema y no hay otra opción. La opción la tenemos todos los días, la opción la tenemos cada uno de nosotros, y está en todos nosotros. Es decir, una persona me da un dólar mal habido, dígase el narco, me viene a dar un dólar, yo no voy a hacer por gastar ese dólar. Está en mí el cambiar el destino de ese dólar y lo que voy a hacer con ese dólar. Son palabras muy fuertes de entender, de asimilar, pero son palabras que son necesarias de hablar, son conversaciones necesarias de tener, de escuchar, no solamente en la música. Yo agradezco a ti que estás tomando este mensaje, y le agradezco totalmente a Micah Shemaiah por tomarse el tiempo de conversar no solamente conmigo, sino con la gente en este chat. Digo para Honey B, digo para Mellow Mood, digo to everybody listening and taking this message And big up to you, Micah Shemaiah, for taking the time to have this conversation that is needed, not only to listen to music, but we actually need to have these conversations to make people realize that the choice is every day and is in every step that we take.
It's just, you can't have one foot in and one foot out, yeah? You can't. I'm sorry, people. I know a lot of you would like to have that. A lot of you like to have a fingernail in the evil and then say you're good. It doesn't work that way, yeah? So you need to stop that. Yeah, you can't have not even a toenail in evil and say you're good. Yeah, it's about being good. That means you don't entertain evil. You don't entertain corruption. Bad things come into everyone's mind. Bad things happen to everyone. We all go through moments where we do bad things and we react badly. Yeah? But that is like singing. It's like when I'm singing, if I go off key for a moment, it's just a moment. I'm not going to stay off key because nobody's perfect. Yeah? Some people are born with a perfect pitch. Yes, I wasn't. But as I said, it's just like that. You know, you're not going to stay off key because you want to have that beautiful sound, right? You want to emit that beautiful sound. So there's no reason for us to be off key. You can't have one foot in and one foot out. Yeah? Don't bring money, gifts, all the niceties to your family from a corrupt place or earning from a corrupt energy. Yeah? You're not going to like what it's going to manifest on your family, on you, on your kids, whatever. Might not be tomorrow. It might not be a week from now, but surely it will be. Because that's all evil begets. Evil and more evil. Yeah? So stop the rot before it rots too much and it can't be revived. Yeah? Please. Please.
Nos invita a no pretender.
Yeah.
Nos invita a no pretender que podemos jugarle al malo y al bueno. Todos dicen nadie somos perfectos y hace una analogía de hasta él no es perfecto y se está cantando y se sale de repente de tono. Es un momento en el que todos podemos equivocarnos, en el que todos podemos cometer un error, pero está en nosotros el corregir ese error, está en él el seguir cantando fuera de tono o en volver a su tono. Mantengamos esta mentalidad de mejorar, aunque nos equivoquemos, y de mantenernos fuera de la maldad del mundo, porque está en nosotros la bondad y está en nosotros la conciencia de tomar buenas decisiones. Big up Micah Shemaiah spreading the words and the roots. Big up Turner Brown and everybody tuning in into this conversation. This conversation is going to stay recorded in each and every one of the platforms. It's going to stay recorded too on the next session of the Mundo Reggae Radio Show. This is heavy conversations that are near in the world, that need to be included in spaces where entertainment, that's as I will call my works. I entertain people with music, but with music that has a message for your mind, for your soul, and for your heart. Thank you, Micah Shemaiah, for all the time, for your words, and for sharing your talents with the people. Looking forward for that new music and looking forward to have many more conversations like this with you.
Thank you very much too, for giving me the space to speak to an audience again. As I said, this is not really my kind of thing. I let it stay in the music, but I give thanks when I can speak from the heart to the people indirectly. Yeah, so man, do give thanks for that, you know what I mean?
Welcome anytime. Como decía hace un rato, esto no es algo que haga todos los días, no es algo que esté acostumbrado a hacer estas conversaciones, pero aprecia mucho que le demos el espacio, que lo sigamos escuchando, no solamente las músicas, sino también sus pensamientos. I know it's almost midnight for you, so again, thank you for staying and for your
ability. It's okay, I have nowhere going actually.
Good, it's a resting day from a long tour, waiting, a lot of people waiting to see you and to enjoy of your music and the music of the whole crew of the Havana Kingston. I wish you all the success in this tour, all the success in the next projects. We'll be waiting for it to spin and share in the Mundo Reggae Radio Show.
Well, I've to be honest, I've actually
I've always had success, you know, because I know who I am, you know what I mean? So, you know, success would, for me, would be, you know, to see the news looking different, you know, and less violence, less evil, less wickedness. It really, it does something to me personally, and it makes it very hard to act. You know, a lot of what you see artists do nowadays is really acting. You know, I can't. It's very hard to go on stage and skin your teeth and sing and all that crap, and you know that the world is really going to a very dark place. You know, what I mean, for me, that's not something I want to be doing. So I'm not really looking for success in music in terms of having billboards or being on the billboard or having big splashes of money or being on the biggest festivals in the world or whatever, you know what I mean? I give thanks when Jah brings me to those places so that I can spread the message that is within me, and that will never change. You know what I mean? As I said, that is the success that I want to see. A better world where when I'm not here anymore, that my youth and his youths and my nephews and nieces and all my brethren's children can live a life. Yeah, because to be honest, it hasn't been easy for us, but we have been able to live a little life. Like when I was younger, I have very fond memories of very beautiful times, even though I grew up in the ghetto and it was very rough. So even in that, I was able to live, you know. But in the future, if all our kids are placed in concentration camps, they won't be able to live any life, yeah. So people need to understand where this world is going and the kind of the convenience that we're leaning ourselves to, and the way that we are letting governments and evil men take our will and turn it into something else, and then more than likely we'll end up in a world again where we're all slaves.
Your righteousness is truly appreciated through your music and through your words. Dice que el éxito que él espera no es estar en los más grandes festivales, no es estar en los más grandes tops de música. El éxito que él espera es que haya menos violencia y que sus hijos, tus sobrinos y toda tu familia, las generaciones que vienen en el futuro, puedan vivir libres y con memorias tan bonitas como él tiene, aunque haya crecido en el barrio, aunque haya sido difícil, tiene muy buenos recuerdos de las influencias que tuvo alrededor y de las experiencias que pudo vivir. Así que este es el éxito que se desea a él mismo y a los demás. Un individualista en todo su esplendor, que vamos a seguir disfrutando y vamos a seguirle dando el espacio y el tiempo por cuantas veces sea necesario para tener estas conversaciones. We welcome each and every time to keep the conversation going with the Mundo Reggae Show platform. Again, appreciated your time, your words, and overall your music that has been sounding in Mundo Reggae.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Please say bye-bye to the people enjoying this live. We've been looking forward to listening to music.
Yeah, give thanks for everyone that has been a part of the life, a part of the Mundo show for how many years, you know what I mean? And obviously this sister, Miss Lulu, is of a great spirit, and you have a great host, and then somebody who's trying to bring you truth, you know what I mean? So appreciate that, yeah. And just give thanks, you know what I mean? Just give thanks that we are here, because a lot of people aren't here. I've lost so many people in the last few years, I can't count anymore, you know what I mean? So yeah, just give thanks that we're here. Give thanks that we have a chance to make what this plane is a better place for us and for whoever comes after us. You know, stop thinking selfishly and think that it's over when you're over. It's not over when you're over. Yeah. So try to make it better for who comes after. See, so the earth can continue, and you know, nature can continue healing us and helping us and giving us the strength to live. You know. Yeah, man, just give thanks. And as I say before, try to remove the good, remove the evil from your mind. Yeah? Make that try. Try to remove the evil from your mind. That's my final thing to say, you know?
Day by day.
Yeah,
Un
it's a
día a la
process.
vez.
The process.
Trata de vivir ese proceso de remover la maldad que hay en el mundo de tu mente y de vivir de una manera positiva. agradece y reconoce la labor de tu servidora durante estos años y te invita a seguir disfrutando de este espacio, porque es un espacio creado para personas como ellos y para realmente hacer que se quede en la historia y que realmente se tenga la atención en cada uno de los rincones posibles. Muchísimas gracias a ti por estar festejando conmigo con estas palabras, 15 años del Mundo Reggae Radio Show. Thank you so much for being part of the 15-year celebration of the Mundo Reggae Radio Show. We're going to continue sharing your words for many more till the next interview.
Yeah, man, definitely. Thank you very much, and thank you for just endorsing some good music and good spiritual energy. Yeah, give thanks.
Is the process, is the mission day by day to take this message to each and every corner that is possible and that is in my hands. Thank you for
You're
being
doing
part
a
of
great
it.
job. Yeah, you're playing your part,
Thank you.
and I do give thanks for you as well.
Thank you. See you in the next interview. Keep enjoying, keep tuning in, keep living, keep trying.
Yes, Mama.